Hey guys, welcome back to another video on Mow Outdoors and Reviews, your number one channel for baby product reviews, as someone said in the comment of my last baby product review video. Today we're looking at the Delta Children Jordan convertible changing table. Just got it in the mail. Let's go ahead, I open it up here, unbox it. We bought this on Target.com, and they don't sell it in the store, so you have to get it shipped. But we also have the crib that matches this, as well as the drawers, the chest of drawers that matches it. So it looks like we got some hardware here. As with any furniture you buy online and get shipped to your door, there's going to be a good amount of construction that you're going to have to do yourself. So it looks like we got all the pieces in here. I'm going to bring this up to the baby room and start getting it put together. All right, guys, disaster has struck. I got all the panels and parts up here in the baby room. I brought them all up the stairs, and I have them here on the floor. Of course, I brought these two panels up last, and this one is damaged here on the corner, and so is this one. So that's pretty disappointing, considering it's brand new, shipped to my door. Luckily, I already reached out to Delta Children on their website, and it took them a few days to get back to me, but they are going to send me a replacement piece for each of these. So I'm going to get two new panels. They said it could take anywhere from 5 to 10 days to get here, though, so that's a little disappointing. But better than having to lug this thing back to Target, because it's pretty heavy, so I wasn't excited to do that. But I guess I'll see if I can get any of it put together while I wait, and we'll see how it goes. I'll let you guys know. All right, guys, so I got two new panels shipped to me from Delta Children. Here are the boxes and the foam they were packed up in. But unfortunately, these two are cracked as well. You can see some damage there. And I think that's on basically the front of the bottom shelf there. And this corner is also cracked. And this corner down here is also a little bit cracked. So that's unfortunate. It's a fail for the second time. And then this other piece was a better shape, but just had a little bit of a crack there. And this is the back of the top shelf, I think, where the crack is. So if it was just that, I'd probably let it go. But since this other one is all cracked up, I think I'll message them again, see if I can get two more sent out. These took about 2 weeks to get here, so that's unfortunate as far as getting all of this done. But let me get back to them and see what they say. All right, guys, more disappointment. The replacements for the replacement parts came in. So this is the one they just sent me. And it's cracked as well in the corner there. This is the one they sent me before. It had a chip here. And then it was banged up down there. Can't remember if there was another spot. I think that corner down there is a little bit chipped as well. So basically the same condition for the bottom piece. The top piece they sent me this time was actually in good shape. So we got one replacement piece basically, and now we just got to get this bottom one sorted out. So it's Friday. I just sent them an email, got the message back that they're out of the office for the weekend basically. So we'll see what they have to say on Monday. So basically I bought the bookcase changing table deal, and it had the cracked bottom and top. Emailed them about it. They sent me replacement bottom and top that were both cracked. Emailed them about that. They sent me another replacement bottom and top. This time they did double package it, and the top is in good shape, but the replacement bottom still has a crack in it on this corner. So we'll see what they say. At some point I might just fill this in with putty and kind of use some touch-up paint. But we'll see if they can send me another bottom. Maybe they'll get it right this time. But again, we're about over a month since I got this and have been trying to get it put together. So at this point, I would say maybe try some other baby furniture. Again, the crib and the dresser they sent us, both in great shape. So this is just the matching bookshelf changing table that is cracked. So I'll keep you guys updated. I'm going to keep making this video until I get all the pieces and get it put together. So while I'm waiting for the next piece to arrive from Delta, or the replacement piece, I'm going to start putting this thing together. So there's 13 steps in this booklet here. Step 1 is you take these cam bolts, they call them, take 6 of them, put them in these holes. They kind of have they're kind of recessed down there. Don't confuse it with the other holes. So there's 6 total in the first step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was pretty easy. Step 1 complete. Hopefully all the steps are this easy. So step 2, you just need 2 of those little dowels, 2 of the locking cam lock nut things, a screwdriver, and then parts A and J. So I got A here. That's going to be part J. I already put the dowels in the holes, so you put one there and one there. And then you just have to position J correctly so that the front is toward the front. So let me put you guys down. I'll put it on. So part 2 also pretty easy. On to part 3. And before I go on to part 3, just make sure you have this nice finished side the same direction as the beveled part is A, because the back looks different. They say that in the instructions. On part 3, we take parts in. That's part P there. And then you need 2 of these dowel things on each side. You're basically going to connect them in those holes there. This is the back of our piece we've already made. You have that laying down. And then you can use like kind of the holes on the shelves to make sure you're aligned properly in the picture. So let's go ahead and do that now. Got that done. On to step 4. All right, so tips for part 4. All right, make sure you have the Phillips head side out on these so you can easily adjust them. And then on these pieces, you have to make sure not only the holes, because they kind of look the same, but sometimes you have to flip them in order to get the dowel to line up correctly there. But otherwise, went together fairly easy. Just took a little longer than some of the other steps. On to step 5. So I went ahead and just did step 5. Step 5 was pretty easy. You just take pieces. This is G. And my G actually wasn't labeled, but it was the only piece that made sense out of what was left. And this other piece is piece F. And basically you just take a dowel and a screw and attach them up here. So let's move on to step 6. So step 6, you just put another one of these sides on this piece, which they call a piece B. And this is a good step because this thing is kind of wobbly and comes apart when you move it around. So this should give it some more, to make it more solid and easier to work on for the rest of the steps. But basically you just put, these things have already been put in from step 1. And then you just got to put the dowels and all the small holes here. And then put it on top, and then you put some of those screws on. So I'll go ahead and do that now. I'll let you guys know how it goes. So I got it on. Step 6 was pretty easy. I think the key is just putting those dowels in and then putting it on top. And it's looking pretty good, much more solid now. So on to step 7. All right, guys. So step number 7 involves putting the bottom on. So the bottom of mine does have this slight crack. Luckily, this is on the back side. And this was, they haven't shipped me the new one yet. This is the 3rd one. So I have the one it came with, which was basically cracked in a couple of the front corners. Then the one they sent me was also cracked on the front corners. And then they sent me this one double packaged, as well as with the top, which was also cracked. This one just has this little crack in the back. They're sending me a new one, but they haven't even sent me the tracking yet. And it usually takes about 10 days for them to get it to me. They're also going to send me a paint pen in case the new one is cracked. So probably what I'll do is just put this one on and touch this one up with that paint pen that comes. And then if I ever want to take off the bottom and put a new bottom on, I'll do that. But I suspect the new one they send me might also be cracked when it gets here because they already are 0 for 3. And I got to get this thing together so I can get this room organized. I got family coming into town this weekend. I want this room to look presentable. So we're just going to put this one on. So I got the dowels on here. I've got the hardware. This looks like a fairly easy step. Again, put the dowels on first, get it to connect with the top, and then put the screws in. So I got the bottom on, and now we're on to step 8, putting the top on. Looks pretty easy. I already got the dowels in there. And then now you switch over to these M6 by 40 millimeter bolts that go in the bottom. And you can tell which side's the back because the back has these little holes. See if you can see it there. There's one right there. These little holes on the back. So make sure those are facing toward the back. I'm going to go ahead and put this on now. I take that back, guys. You're going to want to put these dowels in on the top here and then use gravity to your advantage and place the top on it. So I'll try that now. All right, we ran into another snag. On the top part that they sent me, the replacement part, the holes are different. So as you can see, these the front holes there, they're much narrower on the one. This is the original one here. On the one they sent me, they're much further apart. So they don't line up with these holes, which I don't think is that big of a deal because it already attaches with these 4 here and the back ones. So right now I'm going to just put this together. I might ask them to send me a replacement piece F because I can easily swap that in later, and then that hopefully one that will line up with these holes. Okay, so I put the top on again. Couldn't put those holes. The holes didn't line up down on this side. But we're on to step 9. And this is another easy step. Basically just involves putting 4 of these M6 by 30 screws. You put some on each, 2 on each side. And make sure you don't put the wrong screws in, because if you do, it'll pop through the top here and you'll mess up your changing the top of your bookcase changing table deal. So let me put these in. All right, so we're on to step 10, which might be one of the more time-consuming steps, just because you have to put 20 of these 15mm screws in the back here. So I got the two back pieces on. I haven't screwed them in yet. One part that's a little bit confusing is there's a hole here and a hole here, which doesn't line up with a hole necessarily on the pieces. But basically, a screw goes in there, and you put it in between these, and it kind of helps keep these two pieces sort of connected. You don't actually put it into a hole. Otherwise, the other ones, you line up the holes here with the holes on the back. And the only reason I know that, because on the picture it's kind of hard to tell, but it looks a little bit more obvious when you skip ahead to step 11. You can see that they just fit screws in between there. Otherwise, don't line up with these screws, because that's for the end part, or the top part. It's held onto the top by these holes up here. So you don't screw this backing piece into these holes, which should be fairly obvious because the holes on the back piece don't line up at all. So let me go ahead and do that now. Probably going to take a minute. I'll get back with you guys. So I got all the screws in for step 10. It's actually pretty easy. I put basically the center screws in first, and then I did the two middle screws, and then just worked my way around from the outside in, or from the inside outside to the outside. Now we're on step 11, which is probably the easiest step. It's just screwing on these legs. Of note, the legs, of course, don't match. I guess they're pretty close. But this is the dresser, or the drawers, essentially, the chest of drawers. And it's kind of weird they don't match, considering they're supposed to be kind of a matching set. But they're close enough, so we'll go ahead and put this on, and then we'll go on to step 12. So on to step 12, involves assembling 3 sides of the eventual, what will be the top, to the changing table. So I'll go ahead and start that now. So step 13 involves putting this back piece on here. I recommend flipping the whole thing upside down, because there's this lip that hangs down, so it's easier to do it this way. It lines up better. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So step 14 involves putting the top on. So with basically these 3 screws here, and they come in the packaging, it's pretty obvious which 3 screws it is. I'd recommend using a flashlight to help you kind of line up the holes. Make sure you're lined up, and then it should be pretty easy. I'm going to do the middle one first, and then do the outer ones. And then I'll go ahead and find a place for this in the baby room, clean the baby room up, put the books in it, and I'll show you guys how it looks. So here's the finished product, guys. Got everything in there. Kind of just loosely organized right now, but you guys get a pretty good idea. Here's the changing pad we put in there. And again, it looks pretty good. Pretty happy with how it looks. Matches our crib and the dresser that we got that go with it. There's our background. I've made a video on putting that up if you want to check it out. There's our spear gun. We're debating putting it over the crib or the changing table, but let me know what you guys think, where we should put the spear gun. And then we got the new bottom piece they sent in. Of course, has a small, I don't know if you can catch it on camera, but there is a small crack in the side here. So again, all the pieces they sent me had cracks in them, but they did send me a paint pen as well, or touch-up paint. So in case there's ever a chip or anything, I can touch it up. But again, pretty easy to get put together. It's just, my only complaint is that most of the pieces they sent me had cracks in them. They must have, some assembly problems, or some manufacturing assembly line problems. But again, guys, thanks for watching. If you like the content, go ahead and subscribe. I got reviews on most of the baby stuff we bought. And again, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all later.